As 2025 wraps up, it's a good time to look back at the UFC pay-per-views. I'm Omar, and I'm joined by Luca, and we'll be ranking each pay-per-view of 2025.
I'm excited. I feel like it's been a good year for pay-per-views.
Yeah, let me break down the tiers. So first we have legendary. So these are going to be decade-defining events. They're going to have like 50-50 matchups, elite fighters facing off against each other.
They're like a 300.
Exactly, like a 300. And we have A tier. These are the ones that are going to define the year. Elite competition, somewhat stacked, but not quite decade defining. And then we're going to have solid, B tier. These are going to be the fun cards, kind of like your average pay-per-view.
Like they're a good watch.
Exactly. And then we have C tier, that's mid. And these are the ones that are going to be forgettable. They might have like one card carrying the whole pay-per-view, and the rest is like barely memorable. D tier, trash. These are the ones that were overhyped and ended up being boring. Big letdowns happened, you know, something that as a hardcore you could just miss and you'll be completely fine. So without further ado, let's start. UFC 311. I put that at B tier. What do you think?
No, yeah, I agree. I feel like this card was really exciting. If, Armin fought in the main event, I feel like this could have been like a really special card.
Yeah, that was the main reason I put it at B tier. The Arman versus Makhachev main event was like the biggest hype, their rematch.
Yeah.
He was like
hurt his back the day before,
exactly 24-hour notice, and they had Moicano come in. That like removed a lot of the hype. Like, it could have been potential S tier. It could have been S tier with.
Because on paper, this is a huge card. I mean, like two male title fights in the same card.
Exactly, and they're all from the Caucasus region. They have the two Dagestanis, the Georgian, the Arman's from Armenia. The wrestling acumen on that card alone would be great. Marab versus Umar, that was a solid fight.
Oh, that was one of the best fights of the year.
Peyton Talbot's first loss was on that card.
I remember he ruined a couple of my parlays. That was probably the biggest upset of the year.
Yeah, and then the Islam round 1 finish at the end. I mean, that's pretty solid. I put that at B tier.
And we haven't even mentioned the Jamal Hill-Jiri fight.
I mean, it's solid overall. It had its good moments, but I wouldn't say it defined the whole year.
It was the first pay-per-view I ever watched. I was at your house.
Yeah, I remember that. I didn't know that was your first one. All right.
No, yeah.
I mean, it's a good start to the year. So,
yeah, somebody told me that was like a weird first pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was, because I don't know if there's ever been like a 24-hour notice main event change. All right, UFC 312, Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland.
Yeah.
I put that at a D tier.
Yeah, that was a terrible card. Like, when you have Jimmy Crute in the main card in a pay-per-view, it's just not going to be, you're just not going to put you in a good spot. Like, one of the featured fights was Tafa versus Teixeira. Like, it feels like they didn't really, like, have a high budget on this card. You know, there wasn't a lot of big fights, but what really carried this card was the prospects in the beginning. Like, Sal killed with his knockout over Jubilee, as well as Alexandra Taporia's debut. Kind of a terrible card. A lot of decisions, too.
9 decisions. I counted 9 decisions on that card.
The main event was boring. Sean Strickland, he promised us a war. It was just not a fun watch.
There could have been other matchups. Like Hamzat was
due.
I feel like middleweight has had that problem. They've had a problem where it's always been the second best fight. Like when Dricus du Plessis fought Izzy, it should have been Sean Strickland. It should have been the instant rematch after that close fight. And then with this one, it should have been Hamzat. Now, Hamzat is champ, so it all kind of balances out. The best fight on that card was Talshin Teixeira's knockout of Tafa. Even that didn't really last because he eventually lost to Derek Lewis, so the hype train died down. I mean, I feel like nothing memorable that really came from this card.
Yeah, I agree.
UFC 313, Pereira versus Ankalaev. I said I'd put that at B tier.
Really? I was going to put it at C tier, but I can agree with that.
Originally, I did put it at C tier because there weren't really any memorable moments. We did have Pereira's loss.
I'd say Rufi's knockout was pretty memorable.
Yeah, that was good. The first round KO against Bobby Green. That was a great moment. It really pushed the fighting nerds forward.
Knockout of the year, too.
Knockout of the year, yep. Alex lost his title. That was another one.
That was an awful watch.
Yeah, that was horrible. I thought he would
The
win that
Gaethje Fiziev fight was good though.
It was good. It could have been Dan Hooker versus Gaethje.
Do you think that would have made that much of a difference?
I think it would have been better than watching a rematch because they already fought previously. Gaethje versus Fiziev fought last year, and it's nothing
yeah.
changed, same thing. And I feel like those kind of rematches kind of hold back the division because that was Gaethje's last win, and now he's getting a title fight. He's getting an interim title fight against Paddy Pimblett. I would be willing to put that at C tier, but I feel like it's like a little bit more memorable. I mean, I put it at the bottom of the B tier.
Really, I can agree with that.
UFC 314.
Yeah, so I'd straight away put this in the excellent. This is either my favorite or my second favorite pay-per-view I watched this year. It just had a lot of storylines, like Volk getting the belt back was super memorable. That was a really good fight. I really like Diego Lopez as well. I thought he looked really good in that fight too. The lead-up was fun. Patty was in there with Michael Chandler. That was super entertaining. They really put Patty on the map. We saw Pitbull's debut. The Gene Silva, Bryce Mitchell whole saga was really fun to watch too. That fight was pretty chaotic, and just seeing Reyes knock out Krylov with that McGregor Aldo-esque right hand, the main card was awesome.
Yeah, main card was beautiful. It was great to see Volk come back. I did not think that Volk would ever touch that belt again. I thought it was over after Ilya knocked him out. I thought his chin was gone.
And we could have had Prates and Jeff Neal on this fight too.
That would have been great. So yeah, I would put that at A. I think it did define the year.
Yeah, for sure.
UFC 315. Muhammad versus Della Maddalena. I feel like this card was just memorable because of the Islam versus Topuria fight, which hung in the balance.
That's a good point. Yeah, I really enjoyed the main event.
It was a good main event.
The co-main was awful. I would personally put it in C.
Yeah, I'd put it at C too, because there weren't any memorable moments except for the title fight. I mean, we had the Aldo versus Zahabi fight, which was
that third round was nuts. We could have had Morales versus Burns on there, as well as BSD versus Joel Alvarez. So this card definitely lacked a little bit. Left some fruit hanging, but other than that, there was not a lot of interesting things going on in the prelims either, but I really enjoyed the main event. I thought that was one of the best wars of the year.
And it really proved that JDM had the ability to fight a good grappler, like he had the good takedown defense. Yeah. So UFC 316, Dvalishvili versus O'Malley 2.
With 316, I thought that was a fun card. I would put it in solid, I thought the main event was fun. Even the women's co-main event, I thought was a pretty fun watch. It was kind of funny to see Patchy Mix go out there against Bautista and get owned. It wasn't really the best quality. I mean, you had Bands knock out over Silva. Azuma Murzakanov was on there. Waldo was on there. I put it in solid. I thought it was pretty fun. You saw some prospects in the prelims like Ju Sang Yu and Kulin Salkild in there.
A lot of the memorable moments did happen in the prelims. I feel like this rematch, the Dvalishvili versus O'Malley 2 rematch, was not really well deserved. It's easy to say that in hindsight because of how easily Dvalishvili submitted O'Malley.
Oh yeah, that was one of the most dominant performances I've seen all year.
Yeah, I think that it really cemented Merab as like potential GOAT status in bantamweight.
It was just a fun time.
Yeah, it was a good card. Main event was good. It ended off great with the submission. Harrison also submitted Pena, so
I didn't know Merab had a submission threat like that. That was pretty impressive.
It looked like O'Malley was kind of wilting though a little bit near the end, and like you could see him kind of give up a little bit, and it seemed like he had less of the fire that he had when he was champ. UFC 317.
For me, this is easily the best card of the year. I put it at legendary.
I feel like the Islam versus Topuria potential kind of messed that card up because that could have been the main event. That would have been a great main event.
Imagine.
And I feel like Charles, he wasn't like the number one contender for that division. Like he was already beaten by Arman and
They
Islam.
were just trying to punish Arman. I didn't hate the main event.
Yeah,
it made some sense.
And Pantoja, his domination of Kai Kara France, that was great. Peyton Talbot's first win
Joshua Van Royval. No, yeah, that fight was a banger. That was like most significant strikes thrown in a single fight. Dariush from Moicano was interesting. That was a good fight. Dariush kind of came back after getting knocked by Moicano. If you're getting knocked by Moicano, like Yikes. But Rodriguez with a brutal KO over Hermanson left him dead on the floor. Cortez was on this card. Terrence McKinney was on this card.
I would put
I'm
as.
fine with Exton or Legendary.
I would put as.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Now this one might be controversial. UFC 318. I gave that a C tier.
That's a C.
Because it's like the main thing was
No,
Poirier's
it wasn't
retirement.
a title fight.
It wasn't a real title fight. BMF. They've done this before where they've headlined with a BMF. With that fight, they stacked the entire card. That's what made it so good. They had Pereira versus Jan Blachowicz as the co-main. This one had Costa versus Kopylov.
And that fight wasn't even that good.
Costa, I just heard that he pulled out of his fight next year. What's going on with him? He's
against
very
who?
inactive. Against Bruno Ferreira. That was supposed to be
Oh,
for
I
UFC
did
326.
see that. Did you watch any of that Kevin Holland Daniel Rodriguez fight? That was one of the best fights I've seen all year. That's one of the most underrated fights of the year. You also got Michael Johnson upsetting Daniel Zellhuber, who was like minus 600 on the main card. You're right, it wasn't stacked. You had Vinicius Oliveira. I remember he was on that card. So was Bertori versus Brendan Allen. Thibaut Gauthier.
It's a good card. It's not very memorable. For these kind of fights, you need to see some kind of fight that leads to another fight, or like leads to a title fight. A fight that actually pushes some of like the lower level main card fighters. So yeah, I would put that at mid. DDP versus Shamaev. A lot of people said the main event was kind of a lay and pray type situation.
Yeah, I get why people are frustrated. You know, the main event was pretty boring. You know, it was probably the most anticipated fight of the year. If you look, other than the main card, like there are so many finishes, highlight reel knockouts. Other than the main, I thought it was a pretty great card.
I put it at B tier. I put it at solid. Co-main kind of weak. You know, Murphy
You think
versus
so?
Pico. They could have had someone that was actually in the UFC. Murphy was good. I would put him in a co-main event of this kind of fight. But Pico, straight from Bellator, overhyped. Like they said he was gonna beat him somehow.
He did look pretty good up until then.
He did pretty well until he got knocked out in the first round.
Yeah. Wasn't Murphy like what was he, like plus 180 or something?
Yeah, somehow he was the underdog and he was undefeated in the UFC. I don't know what the odd makers were thinking. Everyone and their mother bet on Murphy.
No, I did. I also happened to place some money on Lerone Murphy, but up until then, everybody just knew him as a decision merchant. But I'm kind of excited now to see him fight next.
He's pretty solid. He's a decision merchant, but he wins every fight. He's very consistent. Prates KO over Jeff Neal.
Oh, that was one of the best knockouts of the year.
Yeah, it really pushed Prates over.
Prates is the only fighter to go and get a win after his loss.
Don't forget Tim Elliott upsetting Asakura. That ruined a couple of my parlays.
Overall, it's a great card. These are the cards that you're gonna want to consistently watch. UFC 320. Ankalaev versus Pereira 2. I had it at A tier because, the return of Poatan, that was number one. We all thought he was gone. We all thought he would never touch the belt again.
It was the best moment of the year, easily.
And to do it so easily in a round 1 KO, Merab versus Sandhagen, I think that's the fight that solidified that Merab would be GOAT of bantamweight. We had Prohaska versus Roundtree.
That was a banger.
Banger. Last second, almost. He knocks out Roundtree, and then the moment where Yuri's watching Alex Pereira win over Ankalaev, and just the
he's
look
crying.
on his face.
I love that.
That's like a picture-esque moment. That defines the entire
Beautiful.
year. I mean, I like Big Ank, but the division is saved now, I think.
No, yeah, thank you.
The division
Alex.
is saved with Alex. This was a nightmare card. UFC 321. Just because of the main, what happened in the main, I think that's instant D. That was like huge letdown.
Oh yeah, the eye poke. Yeah, I was with a big group of people too. We were all super hyped to watch it, and it's an eye poke. I'm like, damn. Like, you ever see that thing where it's like watching UFC by yourself versus with your friends? This is the type of fights that you watch with your friends.
Like when you invite your casual friends to like get into UFC, and then it leads up. You're like, oh, this guy knocks people out in the first.
This guy's never made it past the first round. He's undefeated. He's young. He's the best heavyweight we've ever seen, and then he goes out and gets eye poked.
You can't fault Aspinall, because who would fight a title fight, impaired like how he was? They need to have better punishments, better ways to deter people from eye poking. Dana White, change the gloves.
Yeah,
Come
do
on.
some of that.
Do something, Dana. Come on, bro. They changed the gloves and then they changed them right back when John Jones was coming back. Like, come on. Come on.
Yeah, that's crazy. You did have Salkild's knockout over Nasrat Haqparast,
Yep.
which was one of the best knockouts of the year. Walter Walker had a heel hook.
And also Mirzakhanov, his first round KO over Rakic.
I'm calling it now. I think he'll be the champ by the end of the year.
Like someone like him that can strike in light heavyweight, that's exactly
Undefeated.
what we need. Undefeated. I think maybe him versus like Ankalaev or something. Him against like an upper echelon, that'd be a great fight. Umar coming back. We did it.
Why is he fighting Davis and Figueiredo?
You think he should get a title shot?
No, it's just I don't know why he's fighting down.
A good win would get him closer to a title fight. Now that Peter Yan's champ, he has a better path to the title. We're just gonna have to see. They're probably gonna do an instant rematch between Merab and Yan, and we could see what happens with the Figueiredo fight, and then whoever wins that would get a title shot, something like that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Another thing that I'm thinking of, like the Almeida loss, the lay and pray loss. Like, what was it? Like he won the second round, he lost the first round, and then the last round he's in top position, and he does nothing. He just lays on him the whole time. That would have been like the perfect opportunity to win that fight. I think if he had dynamic striking at top position, he would have won that fight because it was down to that last round.
Hey, but Volkov is good, man.
Volkov is really good. He's kind of like the gatekeeper, like the security guard for the champ right now. Like I don't know if anyone's like getting past Volkov.
He kind of got to lose all of his title elimination fights.
But to be fair, I do think that the fight against him, against Gon, Volkov versus Gon, was
got
kind
robbed.
of a robbery. Yeah. Jandiroba versus Dern.
I hardly remember that fight.
We do not care, bro.
Yeah.
Zhang Weili's the real champ. I mean, I feel like Mackenzie Dern's just the champ on paper. We're gonna have to see Zhang fight Mackenzie Dern. We're gonna need to see that, and then whoever wins that will be the real champ of that division. Okay, so yeah, I put that at D tier, bro. My favorite card of the year, and it's not because I was there, and it's not because I was there.
If I was you, I would be.
I gotta put that at S tier, bro. Listen, I'm gonna speak about this from the heart, bro, because I was there.
Go for it, man.
I was
Go for
in
it.
person, bro. Makachev versus Madalena, champ versus champ. Then we had another champ versus champ. Zhang Weili.
No, it was generational.
Shevchenko. I mean, this fight will live on. I will be telling my children
Shevchenko
about this
Zhang
fight.
was awful, though. That was one of the worst fights I've ever seen.
It was kind of a letdown. I mean, my brother was next to me watching the fight. He did fall asleep. The whole card as a whole.
No, I had a lot of
fight.
storylines. The main event had so many finishes. You have BSD over Dariush in 15 seconds.
The Morales, round one.
Morales, size bullying Sean Brady. Quick
Leon Edwards. Leon.
Prates, 1 minute knockout as well. Like, come on, man.
Leon got knocked out for the first time.
Listen, bruv.
Don't let him bully you, son. He let him bully you. He got knocked out.
Yeah, Prates. Yeah, he was on Prates' back, punching him. Prates was just like
that shrug,
looking unbothered as hell.
that perfect picture.
Don't forget about Ethan Ewing. Ethan Ewing coming back from the construction site.
Man.
2 days notice? Beat one of the best prospects in Malcolm Wellmaker.
Undefeated before the fight. Bo
Head
Nichols
kick.
comeback, head kick, KO. Head kick, KO. He became Leon Edwards. He turned into Leon Edwards. I know we're talking about all these fights. You know what the best fight in the card was?
What?
John Pork versus Dylan Dennis.
Oh yeah.
Best card.
No way.
Best
And
fight,
you
bro.
saw that happen live. You were like,
I saw it happen live, man.
You're like, yo, these people are fighting. And I was like, yo, it's Dylan Dennis and Chanko, and you're like, what the fuck?
The debut of Chanko, bro. His first fight in the UFC, and it was like a surprise. Like no one knew. Oh, they're having a fight in the audience right before the main event. They were like mopping up blood after that.
Oh really? I didn't see that.
I have the recording. I will put it right here of them mopping up the blood from Dylan Dennis getting pieced up by John Pork. Double champ in Islam, potential GOAT. I would put him at the GOAT status.
I would too. I think he's the best UFC fighter we've ever seen up to this point.
As a whole, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card.
Other than the main events.
I think even the main events were good. You've never seen JDM get dominated like that before, like to the
Okay,
point where he
no,
was
okay,
crying.
no. The Islam fight was boring. I don't think you can convince me otherwise.
Nah, man, he was like trying for submission to get
Something
the
Hamzat
arm.
never did.
True, Hamzat never did that.
Even DDP threw a submission.
Thought the plot armor was back when that happened. Bro, this card, 322. I can't say enough about this card, man.
Is this your all-time favorite card?
All-time favorite. I mean, I was there, so it's kind of might be a little biased.
No, understandable.
That card changed my life.
Life changing.
Life changing, bro.
I would still put 317 over it, but I think it's top 3.
I think it just I don't know. I put 317 under it just because just of how stacked it was, how it turned out. The fact that we had two champs, like a pair of champs fighting each other. 2 pairs, like
Yeah.
you can't get better than that. Let's say Islam like had a submission. Where would you put it?
I put it higher.
Okay.
That would have really cemented himself more, but it was pretty, 45, 50?
I feel like that's the
dominant.
only downside of it. Just how dominant they were, but there was no submission in the title fights. Last card of the year, and we ended off great. Devalishvili versus Jan.
Good card, great card.
I put that at S as well. What do you think?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I would put it at A or B.
Here's a reason I'd put it at S. 2 champs being dethroned. Think about that. People are gonna remember that.
That doesn't happen often.
That doesn't happen often. On the same card, Peter Yan's
They were
comeback.
both big favorites.
Exactly. And we have not only Peter Yan is champ again, he's the 2-time champ. After having like so many robberies, he's
Somebody
had
unlucky, that illegal knee
exactly.
split decision against O'Malley.
And he did lose to Devalishvili in the first fight, but somehow he ends up getting the win and becoming champ again. Plus, stacked on top of that, the second youngest champ in the UFC, in the history of the UFC, Joshua Van.
That was not fun to watch. Though.
I know it wasn't satisfying.
I'm a big Pantoja guy.
And also Brandon Moreno lost in this card as well, which is horrible.
Tyra was way better than him, but that was kind of an early stoppage in my opinion. What's next for Moreno? Oh, he's fighting Almabayo.
You know, that'd be a great fight, actually.
It would be a good spot for Moreno to, get another win, get back on track.
The classic, up-and-comer versus the vet, but youngest champ of this era in Joshua Van. This guy started fighting when Pantoja became champ. But that just puts it in perspective. I would have never assumed he would be champ in like this kind of era. You rarely get young champs in this era just because of how stacked it is, just because of how like you have to claw your way to the top. And especially like flyweight is like a very, very difficult division. There's like rarely any knockouts. You have to be very technical in order to win. His win, it wasn't very satisfying. It was, via elbow snappage.
Oh man, yeah. It's just hard for me to consider Van the champ, man. Would you run that fight back, or would you do Tyra versus Van in the meantime?
It depends on how long it takes for Pantoja to recover. This might take a while.
It did break, right? Or did it?
It snapped his elbow. There was like snapping like near his elbow. They said it was like shoulder dislocation too. And
That's
then
what I heard.
Yeah, but they switched it up, but I definitely saw the elbow snap live. I think it was both. But if Pantoja recovers somehow, miraculously before they book the fight, I think they should book an instant rematch. But I don't know if I'd have Pantoja winning that rematch. Because that kind of loss, that kind of, debilitating
it messes with you.
Loss, it not only messes with you, but it's like kind of a career ender. It might be over for Pantoja. We've seen this before with Anderson Silva versus Weidman too. It was a leg kick, Weidman checked the kick, and Anderson Silva's leg wrapped around Weidman's. It was very gruesome, it was bad, and Anderson Silva never came back from that. And I think it might be over for Pantoja, for the Pantoja era.
That's a little early. I mean, his last fight was dominant. If that's the last you've seen of him, why do you think he's gonna immediately severely regress?
Van has longevity because he's younger.
He's gonna be there for a minute, yeah.
Pantoja's 35. 35, that's like the cursed age. And like we've seen it before. The 35 curse. And I didn't think it'd happen again. It'd be great to see Pantoja become champ again. It'd be great.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But against someone like Van, I highly doubt it. But yeah, and that marks an end to the 2025 era.
Happy New Year's. 2026 is in a couple days. Excited
Hopefully.
to see how this channel will grow next year, but I had a fun time making this.
Yeah, and we'll see you in the next year.